Good morning, everybody. Today we'll look into Backbone MVC framework, so Backbone Model View Controller framework. Backbone is a MVC framework that further abstracts JavaScript with libraries intended to adhere more closely to the MVC model. So it will make sure that the backbone framework it actually abstract the many of the JavaScript libraries, and it will make the application very close to the MVC model, that is model view controller model. And this library is available from this backbone js.org, and it relies on underscore library, and that underscore library is available at underscore js.org. And if you want to include the backbone framework in your code, what you have to do is you have to include those javascripts like this script src is equal to underscore hyphen min dot js, and script src is equal to backbone dash min.js. That is the two JavaScripts you must include in the your code so that you can use the Backbone framework. In Backbone framework, you build your client scripts around the concept of models. And what is a model? Model is nothing but it is the heart of the application, JavaScript application. It contains all the interactive data as well as a large part of the logic surrounding it, conversions, validation, computed properties, access control. Basically, the model will have all the computational things, all the business logic, you can say, all the business logic is embedded into the model. And that is how the backbone.js defines the model. Models you define using backbone must extend this object backbone dot model. So any model you are trying to build using the backbone, it must extend backbone dot model. We'll see the example of those. And in addition to the models, backbone also introduces the concept of the collections. And what is a collection? Collection is nothing but it is a list of model objects. We can store n number of model objects in a collection, and these collections have advanced features, and like a database can have indexes to improve the search performance. So the collections will be having indexes so that the search would be faster, so performance would be better. A collection is defined by extending backbones collection objects. So there is how we can create a collection by extending the collection object. Views allow you to translate your models into the HTML that is seen by the user. So views is what? Views will it will transform the models so that it can be visible on the HTML. So it will be visible for the users on the HTML. They attach themselves to the methods and properties of the collection and define methods that will be called whenever backbone determines the view needs to be refreshing. So it will get attached to the methods and properties of collection, and those methods will be used to refresh the data on the views. You must always override the render method. So there is a render method should be always overwritten because it defines the HTML that is the output. So this is the example. This you can see is a model. It extends backbone dot model. The name of the model is travel album, and it has a title, photo count, and published. And these are the data type. Title is the string, photo count is int, and published is boolean. It's a published yes or no. That is the boolean. And this collection will be stored in this model would be stored in the collection, and the name of the collection is album list, which extends backbone dot collection. You can see the model travel album. So this particular collection can store as many models as you want to store. So it is collection of the models. You can see the relation one to many. So one collection will have many models. Okay, so you can store many model objects inside the collection. And you can see this is the view. travel album view which extends the backbone.view. How we can create the view? By extending the backbone.view. And there is a one-to-one relation between the model and the view. Inside the model you have the inside the view you have the model travel album, and there is a render method, and this is the application where you see all the views. And this is the example of a model, a photo album model extending from the backbone model. Create a model for the albums. This is variable travel album. Whatever the UML diagram you are seeing, the same thing is like used in the code. This is the model travel album. Travel album variable is equal to backbone dot model dot extend. By extending this particular object backbone dot model, we can create the backbone models. And inside this is the opening parenthesis and this is the closing parenthesis. Inside that I have defaults, title, new album, photo count 0, published false. So this is the just the default values that is given. And also we have a function to publish or unpublish. The name of the function like toggle, it is the function. Inside we have this dot set, means we are setting what we are setting, a checked. Okay, we are setting the checked element. Its value will be set to this. And what is this value? We are currently getting whether that checked object is checked or not. So this dot get checked will get the current status, whether answer is true or not. And it will toggle it. If it is true, it will make it as false. If it is false, it will make it as true. That is how this is a toggle. So either you can check or uncheck, that is publish or unpublish. Create a this is a collection creation of the collection. Create collection of albums. How it is created? The name is album list. That is what this is the name of the collection. It is created by extending the backbone.collection.extend, and this is the opening parenthesis and this is closing parenthesis. Inside the model is travel albums. So you set the model type for the objects in this collection. So in this collection, you are going to have a model type of a travel album. Return an array only with the published album. So this particular collection list, this method get checked will get all the albums which are checked. So you can see here return this dot where checked is true. Okay, whichever albums are published, those will be sent as a list. Then pre-fill the collection with some albums. So this is the example where we are pre-filling the collection with the model objects. You can see variable albums is equal to new album list, and inside we have new travel album. Title is Banff, Canada. Photo count is 42, and another travel album object. That is how two objects are stored in this. This is the example of the view. How view is created by extending the backbone.view dot extend, and the name of the view object is travel album view, and inside tag name li events click toggle album. Whenever there is a click event, it is going to call the toggle album. This is the toggle album method. Then we have the initialize method, set event listener. So here we are setting the event listener. This dot listen to. So it is going to listen to this particular model, and it is going to uh, 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 it is going to listen to this model for any change. That is the event. Whenever there is a change, it's going to call this method, render method. This dot render method will be called. And inside the render method, what we are doing, we are getting the HTML. You can see here checkbox. the value is 1, and title is given, and we are setting the property of the checked. This model get checked. So those properties are checked, and the same thing will be, the object will be returned. Return this means it will return the object. And in case of a toggle album function, this dot model dot toggle, it is going to call the toggle method in the model, which will toggle the checkbox, either publish or unpublish. So it is bringing all the code together. Here we have the view code. Okay, this is the complete view code, and this is the initialize function is there. Albums are there. Create albums. Okay, albums dot each. For each album, what we are going to view is equal to new travel album view. It is passing the model album, and this is getting appended. Okay, view dot render is being called. That is how it is going to display. And this is the render function, which we already saw. For the each checked, okay, albums dot get checked, then it is finding the count, it is getting the count, and it is updating the photo counts. That is how it is displaying. uh, Update the total price, update the total count, that is the information that will be displayed. This dot total dot text, total plus albums, this will is the photo count that we got from this particular place, and we are returning that object. This completes a very brief view of the backbone. Now let us look into the okay, the next part, that is XML processing and web services. Okay, in case of this particular XML processing and web services, the topic we are going to look into is XML overview, XML processing, how the XMLs are processed, what is XML, and we are going to understand what is a JSON, and overview of the web services. That is what is there for your syllabus. XML overview. XML is a markup language, but unlike HTML, XML can be used to mark up any type of a data. So XML is also a markup language. One key benefit of XML data is that as plain text, it can be read and transferred between the application, different operating system, as well as being human readable and understandable as well. So XML is very easy to understand. If you look at the XML, the structure is very easy to understand by the humans. The readability is very high, and also it forms as a way for communicating between the different systems. Okay, be it is a operating system, or any other programming or any other systems which want to communicate. The XML can be used as a message, and XML reading and XML processing is very simple. XML is not only used for the web server and to communicate asynchronously with the browser, but is used in a data interchange format for moving information between the system. So any kind of a system, they can use the XML, and they can communicate, and they can transfer the information, they can process the information. So here is the example of different system. This is a web server. There is a request from the user, and there is a response as a XML, and this is a knowledge management system. Maybe some web services, they are requesting some information, and it is getting the response as a XML. Then we can use it in the XSLT as well. This is the DBMS. There is some request coming from the external financial system, and it is connecting to the database, and the response would be in terms of a XML file. So with XML file, it becomes very easy. We both the system need not worry about its specific formats. So any system can communicate with any other system using the XML, as long as that system is aware of XML and is capable of processing XML. The communication can happen, or the response can happen with a XML file. For a document to be well formed XML, it must follow the syntax rules of for the XML. So there are certain syntax rules for writing the XML. We are going to see what are those rules. Element names are composed of any of the valid characters, right? You can use any characters which is valid, and most punctuation symbols and spaces are not allowed in XML. So you should not use any kind of a punctuation symbols or spaces when you are using the name for the element. Element names can't start with a number. You should not start a element name with a number. If you remember in your practical in the labs, we had one lab program where we had the students XML. We created the students XML. So the root tag that was used was the students, and inside we had the student information like student name, college, branch, USN. Those were the different examples of the roots. So student name, USN, then department, college, all those can form as a element, valid element names. There must be single root element. The root element is the one that contains all other elements. There should be a one single root element. For example, all the HTML documents has the root element as HTML. And in your lab program where you have to display the student information, students, that is the plural, students, that particular element was used as a root element. All elements have a must have a closing element. So you whenever you have a opening element, you must also have a closing element. For example, HTML, at the beginning of the document you will have the opening HTML tag, and at the end of the tag you will have the closing HTML tag. So whatever the elements you are creating in a XML, similar to that, you must have a opening as well as the closing elements. Elements must be properly nested. So nesting must be proper. There should not be any overlaps. Elements can contain attributes. Elements can also contain the attributes. Attribute values must always be within the quotes. If you are using the attribute values, it should be inside the quotes. Element and attribute names are case sensitive. So you have to remember that the names you are using for the element as well as attribute, they are case sensitive. If you are using a particular case, the same name, if you are using with a different case, then both will be considered as two different entities. This is a one example of the XML. So you can see this XML. Just try to understand this XML, because this XML is going to be used in the further whenever we are processing this XML. The same example is used. So this XML version 1.0, and this is the encoding that is used. This is the root element art. Okay, this is the opening element and this is the closing element. Inside the art we have painting. This is the opening element, and this is the closing element. So if you see here, it opens here, it closes here. We have one painting element structure, and another painting element structure, and one more painting element structure. So there are three painting element structure with the different IDs. The ID value for this is 290. This is ID 192. This is ID 139. Inside the painting we have the other elements, okay, which are child of the painting. So inside the painting we have title. This is the opening tag, closing tag. title is balcony. Then we have the artist. This is the opening tag and this is the closing tag. Name, for the artist we have name and the nationality, and the name and nationality are the child of the artist. Then we have year, which is the child of the painting. This is an integer. Then we have the medium. Medium is another element. This is opening and closing. So if you see here, we have three sets of painting. That is how this XML is structured. A valid XML document is one that well formed and whose element and content conform to the rules of the either document type definition, that is DTD, or it's a schema. So one of the two, it should comply with one of the two, either DTD or the schema. DTD tells XML parser which elements and attributes to expect and in the document, as well as the order of nesting, order and the nesting of those elements. So whenever XML parser is parsing a XML, it will refer to the DTD and it will understand which are the elements and attributes that are included, and what is their order, and what is the how they are nested. For example, you can see we have uh, the name and nationality enclosed by the artist, and this information, all other title artist, is enclosed by the painting, and many paintings are enclosed by the art. So this information will be given to the XML parser so that it can parse whether the XML is created as per the DTD. A DTD can be defined within the XML document or within an external file. So DTD can be included in the XML itself, or it can be included as a separate file. This is the example of a DTD, XML version 1.0, same encoding, and this is the document type. This is the beginning art, and inside the art we have the element art painting, and inside the painting we have title, artist, year, medium, and this painting ID, C data, it's a required, so we have to give the ID for that. Then title, then data we have to give. Artist, artist includes name and nationality, and name will have a value, nationality will have the value, and year, next element is the year, and it will have the data, and next element is the medium, and it will have the data. So this is the closing, this is the opening, and this is the closing of uh, the XML. The main drawback with the DTDs is that they can only validate the existence and ordering of the elements. So the drawback is what? It can check only the existence and order of the element, whether that particular element is present and whether it is in the proper order. It can check only those two things. Means they can validate only those two things. There is no way to validate the values of the attributes. Suppose if whether the value is text, whether the value is integer, whether the value is boolean, that cannot be done using the DTDs. For this type of validation, one must instead use XML schemas. So how to validate the values of the attributes? Uh, we have to use the schemas. That is another way of doing it. So by using the schema, it has a added advantages of using XML syntax. Unfortunately, schemas have the corresponding disadvantages of being long-winded and harder for humans to read and comprehend. For this reason, they are typically created with the tools. So advantage with the scheme is it can validate the values of the attribute. The disadvantage is it is not easy to understand by the humans. It has to be created using a tools, because humans cannot easily comprehend it. So using tools, the schemas are created. This is one example of the schema. Okay, this is for the same example. So you can see here, this is XML schema access, element name art, then complex type sequence, then element name painting, maximum occurs unbounded, minimum occurs 0. So there can be many occurrences or 0 occurrence, then complex type sequence, then inside the painting we have title, which is a string, then we have artist, inside the artist we have name, nationality. Okay, this is the close of the sequence. Complex type, again next element is a short. Okay, it is a integer. Year, so here you can specify it, it can check whether it's a integer or not. Year, and the last one is the medium. So this is how it is structured. It is not very easy to understand this one, so that is the reason the tools are used to create the XML schema. XSLT, this is a XML style sheet transformation. It is a programming language, and it is based on the XML, and it is used for transforming XML into other kind of documents. For example, XSLT transformation, XSL style sheets, XML data files, and this is a XSLT processor. Using XSLT processor, we can convert the XML files into different formats. This is a example of a web format. This is a word processing format, a presentation format. So using XSLT processor, we can convert XML into different formats. XSLT is also used on the server side and within the JavaScript. So in JavaScript, receive XML and XSLT files from the server. So it will receive both XML as well as XSLT. Then XML is transferred by JavaScript based on the XSLT processor into HTML. Now, whatever is the XML content, it is converted into HTML using the XSLT processor, and that HTML will be displayed on the browser. This is another example. Uh, it is receiving XML as and XSLT, and XML is transformed by PHP based XSLT processor into HTML. So this is the a PHP code. In the PHP code, there is a XSLT processor that will convert the XML into an HTML, and that will be displayed on the browser. So this is the example that converts XML from listing 17.1 into an HTML list. Okay, what is 17.1 listing? It is the XML. Okay, this is the initial XML. Okay, so this will be transformed. This is the XML document. You have to remember the same XML is used in all the codes. That particular XML will be converted into an HTML list. So XML version, you are going to specify encoding, then HTML XSL version 1.0. These are the header information you have to include for the HTML. Then XML NS colon XSL, you will specify the which transformation XSL you are going to use, and this is the link for the XHTML on the w3.org. So both are on the w3.org. Inside the body, you have the header catalog, then XSL for each select art painting. Okay, so for each of the art and the painting, if you see the root element of the XML is the art, and inside we have the painting. for each of those. Means for we have three sets of painting, so it is going to select this particular loop will go for three times. Then we have the li list. Then h2 we are going to display value of the select title. The title is the element, and whatever the value it is having, uh, that will be accessed, and that will be displayed inside the h2 header. And then next paragraph, by we have the value of select artist name. Okay, artist forward slash name, because inside the painting we have artist, and inside the artist we have the name. So how to get that particular element value? Artist forward slash name, and after that there is a break. Then year colon, we are going to access the select year, value of select year. Then we have value of select medium, what kind of a medium is used for that particular um, uh, uh, painting. Then this is the closing of the li element. So this is the unordered list, so it will come inside the uh, unordered list. This is the each of the items. So how many items will be displayed? There is going to be a three items that is going to be displayed. And this is the closing of the list, unordered list. Then closing of the body, closing of the html. This is an example of an XML parser is still needed to perform the actual transformation. So this is how the information will be shown. Once we get the once this code executes, this is how the HTML will be created. You can see here, first it will get the balcony and this information. This is how it will be displayed on the browser. So XPath, it is another technology, and using XPath, we can also parse the XML. XPath is a standardized syntax for searching an XML document and for navigating to elements within the XML document. XPath is typically used as a part of the programmatic manipulation of the XML document in PHP and other language. So XPath is mostly it is used as a programmatic way, means at the dynamically when the a web application is running dynamically, if you want to manipulate the XML document using XPath, we can do that. XPath uses the syntax that is similar to the one used in most operating system to access the directories. So the way it uses to access the element, it's very similar how the operating system uses to use to access the directories and the subdirectories. For example, you can see here, this is art forward slash painting, and inside that you are giving ID 192, artist name. What it will do is it will get this particular element. How it comes to that particular element? It will take art, okay, that is the art. Then painting ID 192, painting ID 192, and after that we have artist, and after that we have the name. So it will access this particular element. This art painting year greater than 1800. Also you can search inside the XML. It is kind of a search. What you are doing, you are looking for a art painting whose year is greater than 1800. If you see here, the year is 1868, this one 1907, this is 1784. This year is less than the 1800, so this will not be selected. It will select this particular painting and this particular painting. Next is XML processing. XML processing in PHP, JavaScript, and other modern development environments is divided into two basic styles. One is the in-memory approach. In-memory approach is what? It loads the complete XML into the memory, and operations are performed on top of that. So complete XML will be loaded into the memory in some kind of a data structures. This is Advantage, the processing will be faster. The disadvantage, if XML files are too big, then it might create a problem. Then the other method is event or pull approach. So it is going to get the whatever is required, and it will not load the complete XML. The in-memory approach, which involves reading the entire XML file into memory into some type of a data structure with functions for accessing and manipulating the data. That is how in-memory approach. The event or pull approach, which lets you pull in just few elements or lines at a time, thereby avoiding the memory load of large XML files. So here the advantage is, if XML file is very large, so it will not cause any problem because it is going to access only a few elements. Okay, and the disadvantage is like the processing time will be higher compared to the in-memory approach. All modern browsers have built-in XML parser, and their JavaScript implementation support an in-memory XML DOM API. So all the browsers have a built-in XML parser, and they have support for the in-memory XML DOM API. You can use the already familiar DOM functions. You are already familiar with the get element by ID, get elements by tag name, and create element. The same thing can be used to manipulate the data. This is the example. Loading and processing an XML document via JavaScript, using a JavaScript, loading as well as processing of the XML file. So first here is inside the script. This is the beginning of the script, and this is the closing of the script. If window.xml http request. So if it is a XML http request, then it is like a recent browsers versions, IE7 plus, Firefox, Chrome, Opera, Safari. Then you are going to create an object of a XML http request, and reference will be stored in XML http. Otherwise, if it is a older version of the IE, then you are going to create a new object of the ActiveX object and Microsoft.xml http. So that object you are going to create, and you are going to store the reference in XML http. Here, first you are going to load the XML file, XML http dot open, get request, and this is the name of the XML file, art.xml, and it is asynchronous. This art.xml is nothing but the 17.1 XML, whatever you have seen, the same XML file. Then you will send the request, and the response will be loaded into XML doc is equal to XML http dot response XML. Then now extract the node list of all the painting elements. So paintings is equal to XML doc. Now it has the complete XML structure. XML doc get element by tag name. So you are searching that XML doc by using the method get element by tag name, and you are passing the tag name painting. So it is going to get all the painting. So how many structures it will get? It is going to get three structures of the painting. If paintings, okay, if paintings means if there is that particular data is available, then you will loop through those elements, painting elements. You will start with the for loop, variable I is equal to 0, I less than paintings dot length. In this particular case we have 3, so then this paintings dot length, it is going to return number 3. We are going to iterate from 0 to 2, 0, 1, 2. That is the 3 elements. And if it finds in the first element alert ID plus painting I, this is the 0, the first painting, then get attribute ID. Whatever is the ID of the first painting, that will be displayed as a pop-up window, and similarly it will get the title. See, this is how the title is extracted. Title value is extracted. First painting, that is 0. Get element by tag name title. So whatever is the value for the title will be extracted. It will be stored. If it is, if there is a title is present, then it will be displayed as a pop-up window. So it will do it for, it will go in loop for all the three elements. It is going to display all the three elements. This is XML processing using the jQuery. So if you use the jQuery, how the code would look like. This is art is equal to, this is the same XML file that we are going to use, and art plus is equal to, you are appending it to this line, rest of the XML data you are going to put it here. So it is the complete XML data here. This complete information stored as a string. Okay, it is stored as a string. Now use jQuery parse XML function to create a DOM object. First thing what we are going to create is a DOM object. XML doc is equal to, this is the jQuery, right? You remember this is the shorthand notation for the jQuery, dollar dot parse XML, and you are going to pass this variable, that is a string. This will return a DOM object. Okay, now you will convert the DOM object into an jQuery object. How to do that? Dollar $XML is equal to dollar, this is the jQuery, and you will pass the DOM object. So it will convert the DOM object into an jQuery object. Once you have the jQuery object, dollar paintings is equal to, this is the jQuery object, dollar XML dot find. So you can use the find method, and you can give the name of the element, that is painting. So it is going to find all the painting. There are three sets of data. It is going to get the three sets of data, and it will be stored in the dollar paintings. Now we will loop through that paintings. How to do that? Dollar paintings dot each. This is the function. Display alert dollar this attribute ID. So whatever is the attribute value that is stored for the ID will be displayed as a pop-up window. Then dollar title, how to extract the title information, dollar this dot find title. So it will look for the title and gets the fetches the value, and it will be stored in the title, and we can display that using alert method, dollar title dot text. Whatever is in the title, that will be displayed as a pop-up window. So XML processing with PHP. Okay. So PHP provides several extensions of API for working with XML, including one is simple XML and another is a XML reader. The simple XML extension, which loads the data into an object that allows the developer to access the data via array properties and modifying the data via methods. So that is how we can use the simple XML. XML reader is a read-only pull type extension. Simple XML, it is a in-memory. It is going to load the complete XML. This is the pull type. So it is going to pull whatever is being fetched. That uses cursor-like approach, similar to that used in the database processing. So it is going to fetch whatever is required. This is the code. Okay, PHP using simple XML. So simple XML is used. This is the beginning of the PHP code. This is the end of the PHP code. We have dollar file name art.xml, that is the name of the file. Then we are going to check whether that file exists, file underscore exist, and we are checking the file. Then if it exists, it will come inside. This is the beginning of the loop, and this is the closing of the loop. If file doesn't exist, else it will say it will exit with fail to open, and it will display that name. If file is present, then what you are doing, you are loading that file. Dollar art is equal to simple xml underscore load underscore file, and you will give the file name, which is art.xml. Access the single element. Now dollar painting is equal to $art painting. This is the first element. Index is 0, that means it is the first painting element. It is going to access that single element, it is going to access the single element. Then echo, this is h2 tag. Then you concatenate with the painting and a title. You already have the painting and you use the arrow operator to get the title and closing h2. Then similarly you will have echo by painting. Inside the painting we have artist, and inside the artist we have the name. So painting arrow artist arrow name, it will fetch the name. And lastly it will fetch the painting, the id attribute. So it will get the, it's going to get the those elements from the first element only. Excuse me. If you want to access the all the elements, then you have to loop through. Okay. Echo ul unordered list for each dollar art is what you have the complete file, xml file. Okay. And dollar art painting, when you say dollar art painting, there are three paintings, so it will have a set of three, and it is going to fetch one by one. So dollar as a dollar p, it is going to point to the first element, and you are going to just we are displaying the title here, dollar p title, and it will go to the next element, again next painting. It will list the title and so on. All the three values will be displayed. This is how we can process the access and process the xml using the php code with PHP using simple XML and XPath. So here simple XML and XPath both are used. What you are doing is rest of the code is similar. $art is equal to simple XML underscore load underscore file dollar file name. So it is going to load into this, and we will have the a PHP object dollar art. Once we have that, dollar titles is equal to dollar art arrow x path. You are calling the x path, and you are giving the path. Okay, this path is similar to the os directories. This is the root art. Inside that we have the painting, then we have the a title. So it is going to get all the three titles. We have three painting, and inside three painting there are title, so it is going to fetch all the title for each dollar titles dollar t. So this is going to loop through all the three titles, and you are echoing the title concatenated with the break. So one title will be displayed and break, go to next line, another title, go to next line, and so on. Similarly, names, dollar names, you have this PHP object of the XML, dollar art, arrow, XPath, and you are searching for root is art inside that painting, and condition here is year greater than 1800. So whichever painting has the year more greater than 1800, those will be selected, and inside those painting it will look for the artist and the name. So in our xml there are two paintings which are whose year is greater than 1800. It is going to fetch the two names. So for each, this will have two names. The first one will be displayed new line, and second name will be displayed. And this is the with PHP using XML reader. So it is a PHP and a XML reader. The file name is same, art.xml. File exists. We already saw this. We are creating the reader here. This is using the XML reader. Dollar reader is equal to new XML reader. We are creating an object of a XML reader, and reader dot open. We are giving the file name. The file name is art.xml. Now loop through the XML a file while dollar reader arrow read means it is going to read the first line, and you are going to store the name, dollar reader name. The node name will be stored in the node name variable. Then you are going to check Since all sorts of different XML nodes, we must check the node type, because we are going to get all the nodes. We have to check whether it's a painting or not. Dollar reader node type, we have to check whether it is a element, XML reader element, and the dollar node name, whatever the node name you have fetched, whether it is a painting or not. If it is a painting, then only you should come inside. Okay. If it is a painting, what you are going, then dollar ID, dollar reader get attribute ID. You are giving the ID and you are getting the attribute. That is, you are going to get the value of the ID and you are displaying that particular ID as a paragraph. ID is equal to, it is concatenated, dot is concatenated. So ID will be displayed on the browser as a on different lines as a paragraph. Next, if dollar reader node type is element, this you have to check. You have to check whether it is a element or not. And node name is a title. If it is a title, read the next node to get the text node. So we have to go to, once it is a title, we have to go to the next. How to go to the next line? Again, you going to call the read method on the reader, and then you are going to access the value dollar reader value that will be displayed as a three different titles. So whatever the title value it is going to fetch, it will display on three different lines as a paragraphs. And if this file doesn't exist, it will come here, fail to open the file name. It will give the name of the file. Okay, why choose when you can use both? So this is this case where they have used both. We have the reader, new XML reader, and dollar reader open. That particular file name is given as a parameter. Now loop through the XML file while reader read. So it is going to read the first line. Then it will store the node name. It is going to store the node name. It will check whether it's an element and it is a painting. So if it is a painting, what is the next thing is a simple XML object from the current painting node. So we have created here new DOM document object, and this is the parameter version and the encoding, and that document object is stored in the DOM document object stored in the doc. Then painting is equal to simple XML underscore import underscore DOM, and we are calling the import node method. So import node method on this DOM document object, and we are passing the dollar reader and extend, and it's going to be what it will do is under the painting, whatever is the structure is there, it is going to get all the complete structure. Once you have the complete structure inside the painting, you can access anything, right? Once you have the simple XML object, then you can access. Now you are printing here header h2 concatenated with painting, and the title is displayed. And next, painting artist, inside the artist we have the name, so that is accessed using the arrow. And so this is the example where both the XML reader as well as the simple XML is used. Only change is in the this part of the code. Okay, so by using this part of the code, we are avoiding this if conditions. So we have to check every time whether it's a painting, whether it's a title. Okay, so we have to do lot of those things to avoid that particular thing. You can use the simple XML object. So once you come inside the painting, you are going to get the complete structure, and whatever is required, you are going to display. Okay, next is JSON. I will see it in the next session.